Welcome to Smart Cherry's Thoughts. This is Sai from India.
Firstly, thank you very much, Americ, for giving me opportunity to interview you for my YouTube channel and podcast.
Thank you to contacting me for that.
So I've gone through your profile and I came to know that you're working on different things. So I thought to tell about you and the work that you're doing to my audience.
Okay.
So can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, totally. So my name is Emric. I'm working in tech, so I'm doing a lot of things related to DevOps and also full stack like Next.js, React, backend, TypeScript. Like I love to experiment things. I am doing a lot of things on Twitch also. I'm trying to advocate people in DevOps on how to learn the tech. Like, do you need to make studies? Do you need to do it yourself? But it depends a lot. So yeah, I have a live coding channel for that, and I am also working as a freelancer at Anima nowadays. It's design to code tools for um, transforming your Figma design to HTML, CSS, React, or Vue, things like that. But yeah.
So you are DevOps engineer since
I work in the DevOps industry since 5 years, I think so. I have 3 years of experience in production in DevOps and 2 years in experimentation learning DevOps. But I use DevOps only for 4 years in production, I think so. More and more like in a full stack scope. But I am also, when I say full stack, so I say about front end, back end, but also in the DevOps industry. So yeah, for me, full stack is three of them.
so what you did as a DevOps engineer?
What I do when I worked as DevOps engineer, I think my best experience was an application in Algeria called Elquiz, where it was who is millionaire, something like that. When you have a lot of questions, people need to respond, and if you are true on all the question, you win some money with the guys, with everybody who won. And so we did that for the TV, live TV show, and everybody was on the application playing, and we had 300,000 people at the same time on the application. So it was very good for scaling. And so the major thing when I do DevOps in terms of stack, I use Kubernetes. I use for the Docker for the monitoring part. I use Prometheus, Grafana, and so at a global aspect, DevOps is you have a lot of things in DevOps. It doesn't mean something because you have so many branch in DevOps, so many things you can do in DevOps. You can do SRE, and SRE is site reliability engineer. It's more like the production DevOps when you need to monitor things, see if it will crash, see if it's crashing or not, and fixing them. So it's more like monitoring. And you have the DevOps with more like before the production, ending CI, ending continuous development, continuous deployment, continuous integration, things like that, and trying to enhance the work for the developer and create a good environment for the developers. And you have, for me, one thing is DevOps, and a lot of people will smile when I will say that, but for me, DevOps is more like a mindset where is for everyone. Like DevOps is more like the mindset is about production, and everybody need to be conscious about production. Every developers need to be an ops, and every ops needs to be a developers. And so everybody on the team need to be a team and need to be aware of the production. And if we have a problem in production, every developer need to be able to understand what's happening. And this is the mindset behind DevOps, is bringing the responsibility of the production to everyone, so everyone can have an impact on it. But yeah.
So what kind of projects that you worked on? as a DevOps specialist?
So as a DevOps, I have worked on Webpill Live. This is a live streaming platform for live shopping. So it's, I don't know if you know what is live shopping. So if you know what is live shopping, this is very easy to explain. This is like Twitch or live streaming, but where people can buy things. And so we did a SaaS platform when you can integrate the live shopping player on your website and sell things in live. So I worked 3 years as a CTO for this company called Webpill Live. We did the game for Algeria for the TV called El Quiz, where it was quiz game, trivia game for the TV with a lot of people. And after that, I worked in startups but it was more not on the scale part. It was more on the creating tools for developers to be able to work faster or to have a better developer experience, things like that.
So what made you to choose DevOps and wanted to be in DevOps?
I think, this is 5 years ago. So I was in school, and one day I spoke with a friend who told to me about Kubernetes, and I was like, man, what is this framework again? I don't want to learn a new framework or something like that. And so you try to learn Docker, you are like, okay, you don't understand why Docker is useful at first when you never used it before. But when you begin to use it, you're like, okay, I can't work without Docker anymore. And so after you learn Docker Compose, you learn maybe Kubernetes if you want to learn it. So one day I said like, okay, I will try Kubernetes on the same day and make a small project in it. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. You can plug everything together. And one thing that I have never did before was infrastructure as a code. So normally when you create a project in big infrastructure, you will go on GCP, AWS, or anything like that, and you will plug everything, put all your VM, all your networks, and things like that. So when you need to switch or change something and do it in locally or do it in another cloud provider, you need to redo everything. So I love the way that DevOps is bringing the infrastructure as code, like Kubernetes or something like that. When you code your infrastructure and you just push your things and everything is running fine because you declare like what type of computer you want, what type of servers you want, what type of networking you want, your DNS and things like that. So it's reusable and you can make a lot of things like canary deployment and things like that after that. But yeah. So I think every developer wants to automate things, and the DevOps is maybe the automation of infrastructure, something like that. But yeah.
So what's your background before coming into DevOps?
So I started learning tech, like programming, at 14 years old, something like that. But like playing Minecraft, I wanted to develop a servers and develop some mods, some plugins on it. So it was not really programming. It was just going on the plugin and touching some stuff. So I did that, and so it was touching some stuff and creating servers. And after 1 year, I started to learn C, just for fun. Like I wanted to learn like how programmation is working and what is behind, but I didn't want to go in the tech field and work on this field. And so after that, I did 2 years in esports, professional gamers, in League of Legends. I did well. It was very good. It was very nice in France. I did 2 years, and after 2 years, I said like, okay, no, I don't want to do that for all my life. And I started a school in France for computer programming, computer science, and I just loved it. And I was like, yeah, okay, let's go. I just want to continue and to do a lot of things in tech, and I just loving it because one thing that is very good with tech is there is no limits. You can do whatever you want in your mind, and you can do it in the world of nowadays. I think this is, a beautiful thing because I don't know if in few years it will be the same because nowadays informatics and technology are controlling a bit the world. So if you are good in this area, you can do whatever you want. Like if tomorrow you have a problem in your life and you want to fix it, it will probably be a technological problem. So you will need to code something, and I don't know. Yeah. So being able to control my life and being able to do things is very good.
So your software engineering experience is making you easier to do DevOps thing?
Yeah, totally. I think to be a DevOps, so DevOps is really for me developers and ops. So it's a mix together. So you need to be a software engineer to be a DevOps, and you need to be an ops to be a DevOps. Well, you don't need to be an excellent in both of them, but you need to understand what's happening. I think my main expertise in full stack. I have written a lot of web apps. I have written a lot of applications, software, and things like that. And being able to understand how the front end is working and how the back end is working and things like that make you more able. I think we say it like that to making good infrastructure, because you understand how it's working and you can make a better flow for the developers. Because literally DevOps, you are writing codes and writing tools and writing things like that for developers. So you need not your clients, but your clients is developers. So you need to be a good developer to be a good DevOps, I think, because you need to understand what they want and how it's working.
So how's your experience working in infrastructure as code?
So infrastructure as code, I don't have done so much. The most I've done is in Kubernetes in GCP, but I used a little bit, but never in production, Terraform, Ansible. I want to try Pulumi nowadays. Pulumi seems so good. I just want to try it. I will try it I think in 2 weeks or something like that. But so I can't speak a lot about that because I don't have a big experience on it. I have done some L charts, with Kubernetes all the time. So I loved it. It's awesome. But I can't very explain why all the frameworks and all the things, because I haven't touched all of them.
So what is your approach in understanding the project?
When I begin a new project, or when I go working for a client or something like that.
Yeah, when you get a new project, what is your approach? How you take it and understand it?
I think this is so if it's your project, it's easy because you are creating the project. But if you go in as a freelancer or I don't know, a new recruit in a company or something like that, I think this is very hard because you have so many things that you need to understand the projects. You have the business part, you have all the code parts, all the context part and things like that. And it depends a lot on the quality of what is already done by the engineers and things. So for the first months, what I like to do to be able to do good choice in architecture or something like that is, if they don't have monitoring, you need to put monitoring to understand how the flow is working. But if they already have this, you need to make some features, some bugs. You need to fix some things that are touching a lot of area of the code base. So you will be able to understand how the flow is working and how everything is interacting together in the current code base and in the current architecture, to understand okay, what I don't like when I am going in the product, starting the local development environment or something like that. And I'm okay, I took 5 hours to start the local development environment. This is not good. I need to make this better or things like that. But so I think to do it, you need to take the seat of the developers and to just try it. Sure.
How many services you used in cloud?
Sorry?
How many services that you have used in cloud?
In microservices?
Yeah. It can be any service for your work.
So the services I've used, for example, in GCP, I use GKE, I think, yeah. So it's a Kubernetes managed cluster. I have used Cloud Run, Cloud Function, Firebase Function, and things like that. But most of the time I'm using GKE, and I'm doing everything inside GKE. So I just have my Kubernetes cluster, and after that I am creating all my service inside it. So if I want some Redis database, I'm making them myself or things like that. The only thing that I don't like to do it myself is persistent database like PostgreSQL, MongoDB, because it requires a lot of maintenance. This is very hard no, not very hard, but you need to be stable. The data is very important for the company and things like that. So I prefer to take some managed service who do it perfectly. Like if you want MongoDB, you have MongoDB Atlas. If you want Postgres, you have CockroachDB or things like that. And so I prefer to do managed service for database, but for all the service except databases, I am doing all in the Kubernetes cluster most of the time. But it depends on the project, but yeah.
So what is the size of the projects that you work for?
Nowadays, Anima is, we have 70 employees, I think so. We are 20, I would say 20, maybe less than 20 developers. And I couldn't say on the size of, what do you mean size of the project? In terms of on code base?
The project that you are working for, what is the size of it? How many people need to work on it, and what are the roles and responsibilities?
Okay, so nowadays, for the main project I'm working, not as a side project, but my full-time jobs, is, so we are 20, maybe less than 20 developers on it. We have probably 3 people handling the infrastructure parts, DevOps parts, but everybody is a bit touching it also. So yeah, 20 people on it, I think so.
So how is managing infrastructure with the code? How is it?
So what I love to say is in startups, everything goes fast, and so everything is not perfect. But when you go into a startup as a developer or DevOps or things like that, your job is not to complain about the infrastructure, but is to make it better. If you complain about something, stop complaining and change it. But I think, so honestly, nowadays it's not, we have a lot of instability in our testing flow or things like that. But we are trying to fix them nowadays. Our current work are on that and things like that. So this is not perfect. It can always be better, but for now it's cool. It's good. We have a good strategy. We are using GitOps. I don't know if you know GitOps strategy. And so GitOps, I think, is a bit the future on it. You just push your GitHub repo, and normally everything is triggered by pull request, branch, things like that. But yeah.
So you work for startups, so you know the infrastructure of them. So what is the size of their infrastructure?
What do you mean by size of the infrastructure?
What is the size of their business?
So I can't really speak about numbers because they are confidential, but we have a lot of, I think maybe we have some numbers we can find online publicly, but I can't say which one. So, but okay. So the last funding was maybe 20 million in fundraising, something like that. So yeah, in terms of price, we have raised $20 million. I think, but since, yeah. So, and I don't have the cost of the infrastructures I know that it's a lot because we are trying to doing a lot of cost optimization because in our testing part, we have a lot of things about comparing images, like taking some image and compare them and see if we have some regression and things like that. And so it's costing a lot of money, but yeah, I couldn't say the price of testing at the moment for now. But yeah, we have a big infrastructure. We have like 3 or 4 Kubernetes cluster because we have canary deployment, dev deployment, production development, and we have 2 or 3 canary deployment, I think so.
So you have 5 years of DevOps experience. So how fast you are able to do DevOps work? How fast you are able to understand what is required for the project?
I think so. You will never find an answer for that because it depends. So like sometimes you go on a project and it's just a feeling. You have the feeling, you are like, okay, I understand it very fast. Let's go. And maybe the code is very good. Maybe this is something you have already done before, because sometimes you go somewhere, but you have the logic on it, but you don't know the framework. You don't know exactly what's happening and things like that. And sometimes you know it because you have the feeling, you have when you are developing or coding something, you have a lot of hypotheses, and you will test all of the hypotheses and see which one is working. And sometimes the first one is working, but sometimes not. So I think we never have a response about this one because experience is very good. So of course you are faster than someone without experience because you will not have the same problems. But maybe tomorrow I will be in a company with like totally different infrastructures than the company I am with today, and I will not understand the context and the problem of the company before 2 or 3 months or 1 month, and sometimes you can understand it in 1 month or 3 weeks. Gotcha.
So right now I'm getting trained as DevOps engineer. Right now my training is going on. So recently, yesterday, the class was about uh, uh, creating scripts, AWS CLI.
Okay, yeah, I see totally. If you want, I love AWS, I love GCP, but I think the future is to be agnostic of cloud. Like you can write something and it works on every cloud. So I recommend you to try Pulumi. Like, do you know Terraform? So Pulumi is a bit the new trend. It's a bit different from Terraform because you can write your scripts and your infra as code in TypeScript, JS, Go, and things like that. And so this is very good to be agnostic of the provider. But yeah, okay. And so what are you doing nowadays with AWS CLI?
So they taught us what is how we can able to maintain and manage the infrastructure through AWS CLI.
Yeah, I see. And so you started it?
Yeah, I started it yesterday only.
How do you like it?
Yeah, it looks interesting. They said before the two other ways to like directly coming to the AWS portal and managing it, and the second one, and now we are trying to understand the scripts, how we are able to do the infrastructure as code. That is,
Okay.
yeah. So what do
Yeah,
you
I see.
say? What do you say to the people like me who are just started learning, because you're already into it from long time and you're doing so many things. You're very fast. You're going very fast.
You will be fast. Everybody will be fast. You just need patience and honestly, like everything in tech or everything I think in the world, like if you want to do something, just do it. Even if you don't know how to do it yet, you will just learn. Like, okay, you will maybe take a lot of wall in your face by doing it. You will make a lot of mistakes, but this is part of the journey. You need to make mistakes to learn. So just go do it. You will maybe crash the production 1 or 2 times, maybe 10 times. I will continue to crash the production. Like, of course, you don't want to do it, but if you don't take risk, you will never learn. You will never like get rewards. So you need to take a bit of risk. So of course, yeah, if you work in a very, very risky environment, like in bank system or something like that, okay, maybe try to not crash the production. But yeah, so I think in DevOps, you have a lot of different branch. So like you said, you are working on scripting infrastructure on AWS nowadays. So this is more the part before the production. And you have I am a big, big fan of the parts after the production when the infrastructure is already running and in production, because you have the monitoring part, you have everything about seeing what's happening, what is the comportment of the user, what is the flow, how do you scale the app, what takes memory, what takes CPU, how do you optimize that and things like that. So me, I love this part. It's called SRE, Site Reliability Engineers, and it's a part of the DevOps. So yeah, like I think it's it's variable for DevOps, but for every branch, just if you want to learn, if you are interested in it, just stop thinking about it and get code and just go do it. But yeah.
So what are the points that every DevOps engineer need to put in his mind, or who are wanting to become a DevOps engineer, that you
Uh,
tell them?
I would say you read some books. We have a lot of very good books about DevOps. I would say I love one book. So it's not DevOps oriented, but it's global in tech, and I think most of them DevOps is also part of the tech, you have one book called Clean Architecture from Uncle Bob. And he's awesome. He explained how you need to break your architecture to be like flexible, clean, and things like that. It's a very good book. And yeah, like for experience, my first mission as DevOps, I didn't know mostly anything about DevOps. My first mission as a freelancer as DevOps, I was hired because I said I wanted to do DevOps. And I said like, yeah, you want a DevOps? I am here. Let's go. And I didn't know anything about DevOps before. And I was like learning on the field, like, okay, they want that. I will do it. Try. So yeah, of course you will take a bit of a longer time because you will learn. But yeah, it was worth it after all. And I do not regret anything about that. So yeah, just, communicate with your team. Also, when you are DevOps, you need to communicate with people in your team, like ask them what do they need, why do they don't like that? Because if you are, I don't know, making an infrastructure for a Node.js server, something like that, you don't want to be the one pushing the code to the server and updating the production, things like that. This will be your developers doing it because you put all the infrastructure to automate it, but he will be the one using it. So you need to communicate with him like, okay, how do you see yourself making a new version? It will be like good for you, not good for you, things like that. Take feedbacks most of the time. But yeah.
So working on different projects, how is that experience?
It's horrible. No. Working on different projects at the same time is not a good thing, because you lose your focus. So you need to be well organized if you need to work on different projects, because switching focus, your mind or your brain is not designed to do that. So when you switch all the time your focus, you will still be thinking about the old project when you'll be working on the new project. So yeah, so it's complicated. So you need to do everything. When you do multiple projects, for my opinion, you need to do everything to have a good developer experience. So when you go on a new project, you don't lose time setting up your development environment, your production things like that. Everything need to be. Oh yeah. One thing that someone told me one day was, everything need to be run in one script. So if you need to run your development environment, you need to do only one command, nothing more, or things like that. But yeah.
So working with operations and development team, how is that experience?
In what, sorry? So
Understanding, in order to do your work, you need to communicate and gather the information. So how is that?
how do I manage to do that?
Yeah, how is that experience? What do you face doing it?
So it depends a lot, because sometimes you have developers that don't care. Sometimes you have developers that do care. Normally, most of the time, if you work for startups with good recruitment policies and things like that, the environment is very good and everybody is willing to do it and love it. So it goes smoothly. Most of the time, it will be hard the first time to ask at the beginning, because people will maybe not be able to understand it or things like that. But after a few times, people will just come to you and ask you, like, is it possible to change that or to do that like that or to add this new script and things like that. So yeah, this is DevOps is more like a culture. And if you are in a company that does not have the culture of DevOps, it will be very hard. And so you need to try to change it and to make it like a culture-oriented DevOps things. But yeah.
So other than DevOps, what you do?
Sorry?
Other than DevOps, what you do?
Aside of DevOps?
Yeah.
Aside of DevOps, so I do mostly full stack engineer stuff. So it depends a lot. I'm trying to work on the most valuable things each time. So nowadays at Anima, I'm working on the fidelity part. So Anima, like I said, we take Figma design and we translate it into code, HTML and CSS with good quality, and in React and Vue. And so my job nowadays is to make sure that when we take a Figma design and we translate it in the code, the fidelity is mostly perfect. So my job is like to write testing, CI/CD and that. So it's a bit of the DevOps part, but also I am coding all the part about the Figma fidelity. So I am fixing, I don't know, if one day maybe we had a rotation of images on Figma and it's not working on the React or Vue or HTML, I will be the one also fixing it and fixing it.
So what is the advantage of being a full stack developer if you want to become if you're working on DevOps?
Like developer, I think this is very good. So you have two type of people, I think. You have the generalist one that will be try to learn a lot of things, but will never be specialist in one thing and never be the best of the world in one area, because he will be a generalist one and he will learn a lot of things, but he will have a good understanding of everything, how it works. And you have the specialist one who will take one branch and just focus on it and will be so good in this branch, but don't know anything about the other one. And so me, I don't like I always wanted to be a specialist, to be the best in something. But the problem with me is when I'm doing something, I like DevOps and I'm trying to do like, I don't know, a Node.js environment server or something like that. And I'm like, okay, but how does Node.js works? How is it running? How do we render React application? How do you use React? And after when you try to understand React, you're like, what is the best practices for front-end developers to make components or things like that? So you end up by doing a generalist person. So I ended up being a generalist person, and this is why I'm calling myself full stack, because most of the time I'm working on full stack stuff, and it also helps me to do DevOps because I can understand like other parts of the infrastructure. But yeah.
So what cloud technologies you used?
So most of the time I use GCP, and nowadays I'm trying to find the best cloud providers. So I am not saying GCP is the best, not at all. I don't know, but I am trying to find, and there is no best cloud provider, by the way. It's always dependent of your projects. For some projects, AWS will be the best. For other, GCP will be the best, and etc. etc. But so most of the time I use GCP, and when I do not need a very big infrastructure or something like that, I use render.com. But yeah.
So how is your experience working on cloud technology?
What do you mean by how is the experience? Do you have this more specific?
Yeah, but I mean using services of cloud. How is your experience?
So what do you mean by how is my experience on that? Like, how long do I have done it, or?
No. You are working on different. You're using different services for your projects, right? So how is that experience using different services for the project?
I don't understand. I don't understand the question. Sorry. So if I'm using GCP, I'm using GKE.
Okay.
Or Kubernetes. But I don't understand what do you mean by what is my experience? Like, do I like it? Do I do not like it?
I mean, how many services? There are so many services, right, in cloud. So, So learning and understanding different services and working on it, how is that experience?
Oh, I think, okay, yeah, sorry, my bad for not understanding. So I think the experience is very smooth. You need to not be like, okay, I do not know this service, so I need to know it. No, you don't have to do that. You just, when you are creating a project or something like that, you will just go in your project, create your project and go like that and say like, okay, I have this problematic here. How do I solve it? And you say, okay, so I need this service. And at this time, you will try to understand the service or something like that. but you don't need to check all the things. So you just go by the flow, like, okay, I have a project. I need to implement these services, and you will learn the services by using them. Yeah. So I think this is the best method to do it, because you can't learn. What I have learned, I think, is that you can't learn something if you are not using it really. Like you can't learn, I don't know, a language, a programming language, if you are just doing a hello world or just doing like some scripting very fast just to try the language. You need to have a real project with real problems to understand and to really try out the language. But yeah.
So what are your qualities that are helping you to do projects fast?
How fast? I don't know if I do them fast, but my quality about that, fixing goals, experiments. Like you need to fix your goals and not to be too wide. You need to say a very big prototype at the first time, and to keep this very, very simple prototype. Do it. Show it to people and things like that. And after that, you iterate on that. But you never want to start with something too big, because if you want with something too big, you will never finish it. You will be bored before finishing it. You will quit before finishing it, or things like that. So you need to set up some achievable goal in a quick time, and to say like, I don't know, every morning when you wake up and say like, okay, what I will do this morning, what I will do today on my day. And I'm doing that on a daily basis, like planning my day on goals that I want to achieve today. And so every day you feel some accomplishment about your journey, about your day. And finally, because you are always making a step, your project is going forward also. But yeah.
So what is DevOps role in cloud technology?
What is DevOps goal in cloud technology?
DevOps role.
Oh, role. So the DevOps role in cloud technology is, for me, is to advocate people also in cloud technology and to help them understand how cloud technology works. But for me, the main goal is to bring the responsibility of production in cloud to developers and to make it easier for developers to use the cloud to make a production, to make a development environment, to make a canary deployment, something like that. But it's a very hard question because this is very wide. Because if we spoke about SRE in cloud technology, so the DevOps in production environments, like monitoring the reliability of the software and things like that, the role of him is to make it stable and to say, okay, our platform is very stable, is to monitor the request, is to see if we have any crash, is to check before a crash is happening, to set up alerts, for example. So it will be alerted before the crash is happening, before, I don't know, like one day we have like 1,000 requests to an API, but this is not normal. So he will check that and see what's happening or things like that. So this is the SRE. And the DevOps on CI, CD, making tool for developers, things like that, his job is to automate and to enhance the developer experience. So his job will be to enhance the workflow, to be able to create features faster and to develop feature faster and to push it to production faster, without losing reliability and stability and things like that. Yeah.
So what are the general problems that a DevOps engineer faces?
Yeah, good question. As a bigger problem that DevOps engineers are facing, I would say, I don't know, it's so many frameworks maybe. Like you never know what to choose. You have so many new frameworks. This is the same for developers, I know, but yeah, so many frameworks, so many new things, so many things to do. Like when you do DevOps, I don't know, if you do Kubernetes, for example, you have like networking, security, CI/CD and things like that. So you have so many things that you need to experiment on before like knowing which one is the best to use or things like that. Yeah, I don't know, like we always have problem. Everybody, like developers, we solve problems. This is a goal. But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't say like the biggest problem. Like the biggest problem I was facing was not having enough monitoring to be able to act on the architecture. So if I don't have enough monitoring to act on the infrastructure, you need to put some monitoring. But yeah, so always like that. So yeah, no, I couldn't say. I don't know, honestly.
So how you learn something that you don't know?
You do it. How you learn something that you don't know? I think you just go, you do it. Okay. So honestly, you go, you do it, but also you try to accumulate a lot of. So you will have choosing when you do something that you don't know is you don't know also the best practices because you have never done it. So you will do it, but maybe badly, but you will understand that this is bad. So you have multiple things that you need to do when you try to do something that you don't know. So first of all, you need to pick a project or something like that and begin to do it. And at the side, you need to document yourself. You need to go on the documentation of the project, read the documentation. You need to check if there is any documentation about best practices. One thing that I love to do nowadays about best practices, learning something that I don't know or something like that is to pick a GitHub project that is well known for being good or things like that, and to check the code base of the GitHub projects and see like, okay, how have they done that? How did they do that? And to understand, like, when you are learning something, and this is true for DevOps or any branch, you need to do the project, but never do something that you don't understand. So every time it will be very slow at the beginning, but it will be worth it at the end. Every time you will be doing something, if you don't understand what you are doing at that time, just stop, take the thing, learn why you are doing this thing and why it's happening or why why it's failing or something like that. And understand it, because this is very important, because you will face it a lot of times. And yeah, if you do not do that, you will never be able to become better on this field or things like that. But yeah,
So
I
how
think so.
is
So it's my opinion, but yeah.
so how is talking with architects and engineers that you are working with? So how it will be
How it will be what, sorry?
discussing about the projects and how you're able to make it possible.
Yeah. So when you discuss with people for a project or something like that, so of course, if you don't know about DevOps, if you don't know about anything, it's very hard to go with in a brainstorming and speak about the project. Like, okay, how are we doing the architecture and things like that? Yeah, you will not be able to do that because you don't know. You have some hypothesis that you can try or things like that, but you will not be able to say, okay, we will put some Kubernetes or we will put some Grafana, because you don't even know the name. You don't even know that it's existing or something like that. So you will need to document yourself. And so when you will go to the brainstorming, normally you will have done the previous job that is searching about what's exists in this field, what's people use or something like that. And when you speak about them, normally they know about these things. So you will just you need a brainstorming. You need to listen to them and to listen. So what do they need? What are the problematics of the projects? And so you gather the things, because you can't select a product if you don't have the problematics. So you need to listen first, listen to the problematics of the project, listen to what they want, what are the problematics, what are the goals, what are the timeline, what is the budget. Where takes as much as information that you can, and do not take any decision on this brainstorming or something like that, and just say, okay, cool, just let me get back to you. I will look a bit what I can do on that, and just after that you can work a bit on that and see what people are recommending, how it's working and things like that. But don't you can't, if you don't know how to do something, don't do it in somewhere where it's critical. Do it somewhere where you can experiment and do things like that when you have time, because with time you will be able to do anything. But if this is something critical with no time and things like that, don't do it, because you will not have the time to learn.
So at last, what do you say to the DevOps specialists or people who wants to come into DevOps or who are into technology, who are watching and listening to this conversation from anywhere on this planet?
Sorry.
So what
Sorry, I
are
didn't
you?
hear the word.
So
Yeah.
what are your advices and suggestions to the DevOps specialists and technology specialists for watching and listening to you from anywhere on this planet?
I think I think a lot of people already do DevOps, but they don't know it because DevOps is very wide, like we say on all of this. But yeah, the best advice I could say is just if you want to try DevOps and you want to work on this field, just do it, go and try. You will quickly see if you like it or not. And yeah, just go learn some books about DevOps, about the culture of DevOps. And if you want to learn Kubernetes for DevOps, just go try Kubernetes, try a small project, take your side project, set up everything in Kubernetes. Maybe it's overkill, but just do it, just for learning. But yeah. So yeah, if you want to do it, just go, stop thinking about it and saying every day, I want to do it, but I don't know how to do it. Stop saying that, just go, I want to do it. So I will begin to do it today and just let's go. Yeah.
So as a DevOps specialist, have you seen any videos of mine on YouTube? And what do you say about it?
Of your video?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one video, I think, because when you contacted me, I was like, who is this guy? Why is contacting me? I don't know. And I saw your YouTube channel. I was like, oh yeah, this is big. This is, wow. Oh my God. And I saw the one video with the English guy, I think, American guy, I think. But I didn't saw in all, but it was very nice. I love the way that if I understood your channel, so you are picking people from all the world and talking about them, like what are they doing and how it's happening in the country or things like that. And it was, yeah, I think it's a very good concept. It's very nice. Honestly, I didn't saw all of the video, but yeah, I think it's a very good concept and I love it, man. Continue what you're doing.
So
Sure.
right now I'm getting trained as a DevOps specialist. Talking with experts like you who are around the world and who are already in the industry, who are solving problems, who are doing different projects, how this discussions, conversations that I'm doing with experts like you from everywhere, how this experience is going to helpful for me if I work as a DevOps specialist in coming days.
Because I think what is good. So one thing I always say to people is listen to me, but don't do what I am saying because you need, so maybe it's a good advice, maybe it's a bad advice. You don't know because this is my experience and I don't know, I have a different experience than you or I have a different experience than other people. So maybe something that was good for me was bad for someone else. So what I always say is there, listen to me, don't do what I'm saying, but take what I'm saying, listen to it, have a critical mind about it, test it, experiment on it, and give your own opinion about it. So what you're doing about interviewing people in the DevOps field is very good because you have a lot of knowledge, a lot of data that your mind can process and say, okay, this guy spoke about me about Kubernetes. This one said Kubernetes is bad. This one said Kubernetes is good. Which one do I trust? So you will have a lot of things to experiment. You will have all the data to start to experiment and to try to experiment because tomorrow when you will have your job, and they will say like, okay, we need to fix this problem. Maybe someone in your interview will have say, I fixed this problem by doing that. And so you will have always one thing in mind that this guy said he fixed it by doing that. So maybe if I'm doing it, it will fix it. So you will try, maybe it will work, maybe it will not work, but you will have some idea, some creativity and things like that. But yeah, so I think it's very good.
So I'll put your web links in the description of this video on YouTube. People who finds our video can see the work that you're doing through your web links and can follow you and can learn from you.
Yeah, totally. Totally open to that. Yeah, thank you very much for listening. And yeah, if anybody wants to go on the live coding channel or Twitter or things like that, yeah, with pleasure. I love to speak about it. And if they have any question, or if you have any question, feel free to ask them. I love to speak about that.
So can you tell your social presence or your
Oh,
websites to my podcast listeners?
yeah, totally. Yeah, sorry. So I am present on Twitter, Twitch, and GitHubs, and my name is Kubesandra. So Kubessandra. And say normally you can find me on this social media.
Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Yes, totally. No problem.
Can I also put this audio and video clip on my podcast, website, internet, social media, everywhere with your permission?
Yeah, totally.
Thanks, for giving me your valuable time and giving some answers for some of my questions.
Yeah, no, it was very nice. It was very cool to do it. I loved it.
Thank
Continue
you.
what you're doing, man.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you again.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Bye.